Welcome to the deep dive. If you're curious about Brazil, maybe looking beyond the usual spots, you are definitely in the right place today. We're taking a journey, a real deep dive into two incredibly distinct, but wow, equally fascinating Brazilian states, Pará and Piauí. We've got some really detailed research notes here, just a treasure trove of information, really, packed with surprising facts, rich insights. So our mission basically is to uncover the unique flavors, the rhythms, histories, all those hidden gems that make each state special. To give you a concise but really full picture.
Exactly. And as we peel back the layers, you'll see firsthand how geography, those deep historical currents, and all the diverse cultural influences, how they forge these truly unique identities within, the bigger picture of Brazil.
Okay, so if we're diving deep into what makes them unique, where do we even start? I guess it has to be the ground they stand on, right? Their geography, the biomes.
Absolutely. That's the foundation. And what's striking is how these biomes really shape, well, pretty much everything else. Culture, cuisine, the works. So take Pará. It's right in the heart, the beating heart of the Amazon biome.
The Amazon, wow.
Yeah. So the plant life includes stuff like jambu, the plant with that distinct numbing effect when you eat it.
Oh, I've heard of that.
Right. A real sensory thing linked to indigenous practices. Then there's acai, of course, famous globally. But it's traditionally savory, not sweet like a smoothie bowl.
Savory SIC, okay, that's different.
Totally. And the Brazil nut tree, which is just crucial, an ecological keystone for the forest. And a source of income, too.
And the animals, I mean, sloths, right? Pink river dolphins, jaguars, anacondas, those bright macaws. It's a biodiversity hotspot. It's so important for conservation.
Hugely important. And you can't talk about Pará without the rivers. The Amazon River, the Tapajós.
Yeah.
They define everything. Life, transport, the whole rhythm.
Right. So then Piauí, it's the complete opposite.
Pretty much. Piauí is dominated by the Caatinga biome. It's semi-arid, thorny scrubland, really unique to Brazil, perfectly adapted to extreme dry seasons, shows how nature thrives even in harsh places.
So cacti and drought-resistant trees.
Exactly. Things like huazeiro, umbu, tough plants. And the fauna is different too. The pria, that's a wild rodent. The tamanduá bandeira, giant anteater, magnificent creature.
Giant anteater, okay.
And the asa branca, the white-winged dove. It's famous, even shows up in local folk songs. And life there, especially rural life, is really tied to the land. Cashews, mangoes, and goat farming, especially goats. They're essential.
So different. It's clear geography set the stage. But okay, let's get into the history. The paths they took through colonization, resistance, that must have shaped them profoundly too. This is where it gets really interesting, I think.
Oh, absolutely. And those distinct histories, they really, really continue to shape their identities today. Pará, for instance, colonized by the Portuguese, 17th century. Belém, founded in 1616, quickly became the key port for the Amazon.
The gateway, basically.
Exactly. It also saw the Cabanajum Revolt, 1835 to 1840, a huge rebellion, really. Marginalized people, indigenous Afro-Brazilians, poor whites fighting the elite.
A major uprising.
A major uprising. And then Pará boomed during the rubber boom, late 19th, early 20th century. Global demand for rubber-transformed cities like Belém made them opulent, connected.
Right, the rubber boom changed everything there for a while. But Piauí, a different story.
Very different colonization, yeah. It was mostly settled by ranchers pushing inland, not like the coastal states established around ports.
Ah, interesting. So more from the interior.
Right. And that created this self-reliant, resilient identity, less tied to the empire's port trade, more rooted in the land, the struggle, a real pioneering spirit. There were even clashes early on, Portuguese settlers versus Jesuits over indigenous labor. Piauí became a formal captaincy in 1718, then a province 1811. And they joined Brazil's independence efforts really early. They celebrate Dia do Piauí, October 19th, with immense pride because of that early commitment.
Okay, so these distinct foundations, geography, history, how did that translate into their cultures? What unique expressions emerged?
Well, it's pretty remarkable how those roots blossomed. Pará, as you'd expect, is this vibrant mosaic, a real blend of indigenous, African, and Portuguese influences. You see lots of religious syncretism.
Syncretism.
Yeah, where Catholicism kind of intertwines with Afro-Brazilian and indigenous spiritual practices. Something uniquely Amazonian comes out of it.
And the Verapeso market in Belém, you mentioned Belém earlier, that market sounds incredible.
Oh, it is. One of Latin America's oldest public markets. It's not just shopping. It's like the living culture, the food, the crafts, the energy.
Right.
It is the Amazon trade hub.
Wow. And Piauí, Also a fusion, but maybe different emphasis?
Still that fusion, indigenous African, Portuguese, but
Hmm.
yeah, maybe a stronger emphasis on folk storytelling, religious expression. That's where Cordell literature comes in.
Cordell. Tell me about that.
There are these rhymed folk booklets, often sold really cheaply in markets. It's a democratic way to share stories, poems, moral lessons, deeply ingrained.
Like little pamphlets of poetry and stories.
Exactly. And their handicrafts are distinct too. Leatherwork, beautiful lace called renda, clay pottery, all key parts of the rural artisan economy. Shows that connection to the land, traditional skills.
Imagine being there for the celebrations. They must really bring the culture to life.
Oh, absolutely. Those traditions, they're crucial for maintaining that strong regional identity. In Pará, you've got the Cirio de Nazaré. Every October in Belém,
The huge procession, right?
huge is an understatement, one of the largest Catholic processions globally.
Yeah.
Over 2 million people honoring Our Lady of Nazareth. The energy is just
It's
immense.
2 million people. Wow. And the dancing? Karimbo?
Yes, Karimbo dancing. Deep African and indigenous roots. You see these vibrant flowing skirts spinning the rhythmic drums, maracas. It's mesmerizing. You feel the energy.
Sounds amazing. And Piauí has its own unique traditions, too.
Definitely. Bumui Boy is a folktale,
Yeah.
acted out with dance, costumes, drumming,
Mm-hmm.
often about the death and resurrection of a bull. Very colorful, very theatrical.
It's like a bull story. Okay.
And then there are the cavalhadas. These are reenactments of medieval battles, Christians versus Moors,
Mm-hmm.
often on horseback, really elaborate processions, quite a spectacle.
Medieval battles on horseback? Cool.
And vacajada, it's a traditional sport. Cowboys, vaqueros, showing incredible skill, chasing and pinning down bulls. It's core to their identity, huge pride in it.
The cowboy culture seems strong there.
Very strong. But, something both states share, which is wonderful, are the June festivals. Festas Juninas, celebrating rural life, bonfires, square dances, quadrilha, lots of amazing regional food. It brings everyone together.
Festas Junias, right. Those are all over Brazil, but must have a special flavor there. Okay, let's switch gears slightly. The music. The sounds of Pará and Piauí must be pretty distinct.
Oh yeah, very distinct soundscapes. And it's interesting how these regional sounds influence the bigger Brazilian music scene, In Pará, the most traditional rhythm is carimbo. Lively, infectious beat drums, flutes, maracas. You hear the indigenous and African roots clearly.
Right, the carimbo dancing you mentioned.
Exactly. But Pará also birthed technobrega. It's this really unique genre, blending electronic beats with brega music.
Brega, what's that exactly?
Brega's like a popular Brazilian romantic pop style, often quite dramatic, super catchy melodies. Technobrega takes that and electrifies it.
And Gabi Amarantos, she's huge, right? The Beyonce of the Amazon.
That's her. She really for technobrega global. Songs like Zurli, Infectious Energy. And you can't forget Banda Calypso, also from Belém. They mix brega, carimbo, even lambada, high-energy stuff like Prate Conquistar. It's a really vibrant sound, unique to Pará.
Okay, cool. So Piauí, what's their sound like?
Piauí is more anchored in forró and baião. Those are the classic northeastern rhythms. Accordion, triangle, the zabumba drum, that driving, danceable beat.
Forró, yeah, I know that sound. Makes you want to move.
Totally. You also get repente and cordel music. These are improvised poetic duels, repentistas battling with words, often funny, educational. It's a real art form, spontaneous creation.
Improvised poetry duels. Wow.
Yeah. And for a more modern vibe, especially in Teresina, the capital, there's a good underground scene for Piauí rock and reggae. They blend regional identity with those genres.
Yeah.
Bands like the Lijuete, kind of poetic alt-rock, and Os de Perolas Negras, a regional forró group. So quite diverse musically.
Okay, my stomach is officially rumbling now. We have to talk about the food. What stands out? How does the food tell their stories?
Uh-huh. Yeah, the food tells such a story. In Pará, acai is huge, but remember, savory, that's the key. They eat it with fish, dried shrimp, rice, tapioca, a hearty meal, not a sweet snack.
Mind blown. Savory acai. What else?
Tacacá. It's a hot soup. You've got jambu, that numbing leaf, again, tucupi, which is this tangy fermented manioc broth, and shrimp. It's an explosion of Amazonian flavor, really unique.
Jambu tucupi. Sounds intense.
It is. And manisoba, they call it the feijoada of the Amazon.
Yeah.
It's made with ground manioc leaves, which had to be boiled for days to be safe, plus various meats. A real labor of love, deep indigenous roots.
Boiled for days. Wow. Dedication.
Definitely. And they use amazing fruits like cupuaçu and tapioca in juices and sweets. Very tropical, very Amazonian.
Okay, makes sense. And Piauí's food, reflecting the Caatinga, the ranching culture.
Exactly. You have Maria Isabel, that's rice and sun-dried beef, carne de sol, often with cassava flour, pure cowboy, vaquero, food, hearty stuff.
Carne de sol, right.
Then there's panelada. It's a stew, pretty robust, made from cow's stomach and intestines, popular at festivals. Shows that resourceful nose-to-tail approach.
Okay, panelada. Maybe an acquired taste.
Uh-huh, perhaps for some. But a local delicacy is capote, that's guinea fowl, and ballon de doigt, a classic northeastern rice and bean dish, often with cheese and dried meat. Comfort food.
Ballon de doigt sounds good.
It is. But maybe the most iconic Piauí drink is kawina. It's non-alcoholic, made from clarified cashew juice. It's a cultural symbol of Teresina, represents their ingenuity with local produce.
Cajuina. From cashews. Interesting. Okay, moving from food to people, it's pretty inspiring how individuals from these states have made such a mark carrying that regional pride, right?
Absolutely. And it's fascinating how that regional identity weaves into Brazilian pop culture, often challenging stereotypes. In Pará, Gabi Amarantos, who we talked about, she's not just a singer, she's the Beyoncé of the Amazon, taking Quebrega global, bringing Amazonian style with her.
Right, a cultural ambassador.
Totally.
Yeah.
And you have sports figures, too, like Leandro Barbosa, the NBA player from the region.
Yeah, and the themes in Parrá's culture, Amazonian mysticism, resistance, that fierce pride. Belém sounds like it has a really buzzing underground art scene, too.
It does. Very creative. Then in Piauí, you have figures like Torquato Neto, a key poet and lyricist in the Tropicalismo movement.
Tropicalismo, that huge 60s movement. He was from Teresina.
Born there, yeah.
Yeah.
Challenging everything, fusing Brazilian traditions with global pop. And more recently, Whindersson Nunes, one of Brazil's biggest comedians and influencers. He's from Bom Jesus, Piauí. Embodies that Piaui's wit and resilience.
Whindersson Nunes, of course. Didn't realize he was from Piauí.
Yep. And their regional cinema often focuses on, rural life, struggles, dignity, community. There's a strong sense of Piauí pride, pushing back against negative stereotypes about the Northeast.
It's great to see that pride come through. Okay, let's picture walking through these places. The architecture, the landscapes, they must tell powerful stories, too.
Oh, absolutely. They're like visual narratives.
Yeah.
Belém, Parás capital, stunning colonial buildings right next to lively markets like Vero Peso. You can visit Forte do Precepio, that old Portuguese fort. And Teatro da Paz.
The Opera House?
Yeah, one of Brazil's oldest, most beautiful opera houses. A real symbol of that rubber boom wealth.
Must be gorgeous. And outside Belém?
You've got Marajo Island, huge island, famous for water buffalo, unique pottery, incredible river sea ecosystems where the Amazon meets the Atlantic, and just the sheer scale of the Amazon and Tapajos rivers. Iconics doesn't even cover it.
Right, it's vast. And Piauí's landscapes. Very different, I imagine.
Totally different vibe. Teresina, the capital, it's unique inland, planned city, wide streets, vibrant art scene, not a coastal port city like most Northeast capitals.
That's it, okay.
And Parnaíba on the coast.
Yeah.
Colonial architecture there too, but it gives access to the Parnaíba Delta, one of the world's only open sea river deltas, a natural wonder.
Open sea delta. Cool. But the absolute must-see has to be Serra de Capivara, right? The rock art.
Oh, absolutely. UNESCO World Heritage Site,
Yeah.
some of the oldest prehistoric rock art in the Americas. We're buying over 25,000 years old. It's
Yeah.
breathtaking,
Yeah.
like walking through ancient history.
25,000 years. Incredible.
Yeah. And there's Cidades National Park, too. Amazing stone formations, almost otherworldly, plus archaeological sites. And Oeiras, the first capital, steeped in religious and colonial history. Lots to see.
So much history etched into the land. Okay, finally, let's talk language. The local words, the catchphrases, that really give you a flavor of the personality, right? The pride.
It really does. Those regional expressions, they open a window into the culture's humor, values, daily life. In Pará, the Portuguese has lots of indigenous and African words mixed in. And you'll hear Edo Pará. It's from Pará. That was so much pride.
Edu Pará. I like it. And slang.
Oh, yeah. Kamo junto, caboclo. Means like, we're in this together, friend. Caboclo is an affectionate term for rural Amazonians. Agua is a classic Pará exclamation like, wow, or no way. You hear it constantly.
Gegua. Okay, gotta remember that one.
Yeah. Pirarucu, besides being that giant fish, is slang for something huge or exaggerated. And chibe is a simple rural snack, but also a symbol of indigenous heritage.
Cool. And Piauí, what are their expressions like?
Piauí's Portuguese has its own accent, very musical, expressive. Ox is a common exclamation, surprise, or emphasis. Very versatile.
Yeah.
And because Teresina is so hot,
Right, the heat.
you'll hear pensnum calor, think of the heat, or ikemptive you, it's hot, used literally and, metaphorically for intense situations.
Haha, think of the heat. I can almost feel it. Sums it up perfectly.
It really does. And for admiration, maybe Eita Piauí danado. Like, wow, Piauí is something else, a term of endearment, really. and
Yeah.
their state motto on the seal, Impavidum ferient ruinae.
Latin. What does it mean?
Even ruins will strike him fearless. It's this poetic tribute to their resilience. Really captures the spirit.
Even ruins will strike him fearless. Wow, that's powerful. What an incredible journey we've taken, really digging into Para and Piauí. We've seen their unique environments, their different histories, struggles, triumphs, the amazing cultural fusion, the passion in their traditions, music, food, even their slang. It just shows how these really distinct regions make up the vibrant whole of a country like Brazil.
Absolutely. And maybe as you reflect on all this, think about how these micro regions with their specific biomes, histories, cultures, how they challenge any single idea of what it means to be Brazilian. Understanding these local identities, it really enriches our whole perspective, doesn't it? It shows that national identity is always this beautiful, complex tapestry woven from so many unique threads.